my husband views spending time with his family as a chore, as an obligation, as a source of stress. And he's actually said that to me.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. This video, guys, I'm going to go on the rant on this video because I have so much to say about this video. But this video is a video of a sister who came online to share a story of how she wished she could have decentered men earlier on in life, and how her not decentering men, including her husband because she's married, kind of affect the relationship, or how she could have experienced her children better. She said when her children were still very little, she wished that they could go out to do things together as a family, but the husband, because he works and he was the provider in the marriage, he was always tired. He didn't have time for the family and all that. And she went on to talk about how she was all about my man, we should do things as a family and all that. And now she kind of have this guilt that she could have done those things without waiting on her husband, without centering her husband. She would have done those things with her children without her husband, but no, she waited for her husband. And that she could have also probably looked for a mom, build a community that could help her to do these things and create memories with her kids when they were much younger than now. And I find this conversation very interesting because I love this creator personally and I kind of resonate with her. Anyway, guys, I need you guys to see this video because people always come for those of us that are married and are telling women, younger girls, to decenter men. So I need you guys to hear what she has to say, and then we'll come back and talk more.
So one of the biggest regrets I have about centering my husband in my marriage, particularly in the beginning, is when our kids were little, we didn't really do a lot of things with my kids because my husband didn't want to. The reason he gave me is that he worked all week, he was stressed out, he needed to relax. And so I didn't want to do things on my own because I was convinced that we needed to do things as a family. And since he didn't want to do it, we didn't do it at all. My husband's in the military, so he does have a very stressful job. And I guess that's why I gave him so much grace in the beginning, because I felt like, yeah, you know, he does work all week. He also supports us. I was a stay-at-home mom all those years. And so I felt like it was asking too much in a way. And, you know, when I talk about doing things, I'm talking about like really basic stuff, like just going to the park or going for a walk, not even big things. And he just didn't want to do it. The viewpoint that my husband had and has is that his free time is his time. And free time to him is on the weekends when he's not working. And he feels like I should be able to do the things that I want to do. And what he wanted to do was like play video games, read books, watch TV, nap, not hang out with the kids, or me for that matter. Moved to California. We went to Disneyland one time, and we went to the beach twice. We lived in Southern California. The beach was like a few miles away. We went twice in 4 years. I really should have done more things with the kids on my own, or maybe connected to a mom friend and did things with her. It's just because I centered my husband and everything so much, I just didn't want to do anything without him. And so I feel like my kids kind of had to pay the price for that. And I feel a lot of guilt about that because I should have realized then what I've realized now, which is that my husband views spending time with his family as a chore, as an obligation, as a source of stress. And he's actually said that to me. He's like, spending time with you and even the kids, that's a job. It's like stressful for me. I guess his thought was, when I really talk with him about it, if it's my choice, I would rather not do it. But if you want me to do it, I'll do it. Which of course puts all the pressure on me, because now I feel like I'm nagging you and pressuring you to do something that you don't really want to do. And like, why would I do that? They're now 14 and 11, and you know, we'll never get that time back. That time when they're little kids and they're so much fun to play with and do things with, we'll never get that time back. And it's all because really I just centered my husband in everything, and I wanted to defer to what he wanted or didn't want. And because of that, my kids missed out. And I feel a lot of guilt about that. And I'm just so regretful about it.
I want to know what you think about what she said down in the comment section. I get this a lot of times. She's still married to her husband, mind you. She's still married to her husband, and yet she's telling younger girls how centering her husband affected the way she navigates being a mother to her children. And I personally, I have a lot to say because I feel like myself and this woman, I still relate to her content a lot. So I have so much to say about it. But this got a couple of ladies come to share more light to what she said and their opinion on this. But also, I want to know what you think about what she said down in the comment section. Love to know what you think. Because here on this channel, we're talking about centering men, but some people sometimes get it wrong when we talk about don't center men, center yourself rather than a man. A lot of people usually perceive that as being, oh, men haters. You're telling younger girls not to marry, not to be in a relationship while you are in a long-term relationship slash marriage. And that's not the case. And I have a lot to say about what she said and how it affected her kids. But also mine will be coming from how centering husband affected my life and why I am so passionate about telling younger women, even women in general, not to center a man, to decenter a man and center themselves rather than that. And a lot of time, a lot of people don't get it, that it's coming from a place of experience, first-hand experience. When you hear a lot of married women coming on this app, coming on TikTok, on YouTube, telling younger single women to center themselves rather than a man. Anyway, guys, let's go check out what these other ladies have to say, and then we'll come back and talk. But before we go, okay, hold on there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get notified when we upload video. We post video every single day and you don't want to miss it, okay? So let's go check out what they have to say, and then we'll come back and talk more.
So one of the biggest regrets I have about centering my husband in my marriage, particularly.
See, that's the thing about having a man who's a provider. Most of the time, they don't want to do anything with their families because they're tired from working all the time. And I understand her perspective. She do regret she should have spent more time with her kids without her husband, but she wanted them to be a family at all times. I completely understand that. So no hate or shade to this creator. But I also understand the man's perspective. If he's working all the time and he's tired, the days that he has off, he probably do want for himself, because if you think about it, most people who are providers, they're basically living a selfless life. They're thinking about everybody's needs and means above their own. So those 1 or 2 days that he had off and he didn't want to spend time with you or the kids, he probably just wanted to relax and do something for himself because he's always taking care of everything else. But this is what I mean when even when a woman has a provider man, it's never enough because it's always going to be something.
So one of the biggest regrets I have about centering my husband in my marriage, particularly.
So much of how I would behave in a relationship now or at any point in the future is based on personal experience and what I have seen other women go through. When a man is not centered in a relationship, you have so much more energy for yourself and to pursue what is actually important to you, your goals, your desires, how you want to live your life. I realise now that there are so many things that I just wouldn't do in a relationship, and it is because I do not want to centre a man. I do not want a man, a husband, a male figure to be the centre of my world at any point. I actively want to avoid that. And the content that I stitch is important because it gives me the language to articulate why I feel like that and why I wouldn't centre a man. And this isn't me just being like a man hater. In a patriarchal society where everything is literally designed to make men's life easier, it is completely okay to not want to follow that, to not want to have your relationship, your identity be tied to servicing, making a man happy.
When our kids were little, we didn't really do a lot of things with my kids because my husband didn't want to. The reason he gave me is that he worked all week, he was stressed out, he needed to relax. And so I didn't want to do things on my own because I was convinced that we needed to do things as a family. And since he didn't want to do it, we didn't do it at all. And what he wanted to do was like play video games, read books, watch TV, nap, not hang out with the kids, or me for that matter. Moved to California.
Once again, women need to stop looking to men for emotional connection because many, if not most of them, are incapable of providing it. This woman is very confused. She's perplexed. She's like, I'm not asking him to do big things. I'm asking him, can we take our kids to the park? Can we just spend some time with them? He never wants to spend time with you or those children because, like many men, he wants the aesthetic of having a family, not the actual responsibility of having one. To many men, women and children are just accessories. They are things that he wants to take out when it's convenient and put on, like he does his medals because he's in the military, and take off when he's not using them. Did you catch what she said? He does not want to spend any time with them. When he has free time, he wants to live his life like a single man. He wants to play video games, read, watch TV, nap, exist in a room apart from his family. And I think Mel Hamlet did a great job of tackling this last year with the whole hobby series. She's like, as soon as these men get married, it's not what they thought. And they're like, what can I do to spend time away from my family? What time-consuming thing can I take up? But I think it's a lot deeper than that, even, although that was such a great takedown. A lot of men are still living under an old paradigm, under that old mindset. They think marriage is an exchange of labor. They're going to pay all the bills because, like she said, she's a stay-at-home mom. He's a military man. And you do everything else. They pay the bills. You do all the child care, all the domestic labor. When was companionship a part of that deal? Do you think the men of the 50s and 40s were spending time with their children? Hell no. And that's what these men want. They want to take you out like a vacuum cleaner when they want to use you physically, and then they want to put you back. And I'll tell you something else. Some men do have children for the aesthetics. Some men have children because it makes them look more responsible or because that's what they think you're supposed to do. But more often than not, children are just a natural byproduct of the other activity that men want. Like, a lot of men didn't put conscious thought into, do they want a child or, family planning. They just shot their load and oopsie daisy, a baby was the result. I'm always telling you guys, men are not original thinkers. And, I'll say men who are in organizations like the military or churches are the least original thinkers of all. A lot of them, all they can do is follow orders. So this man didn't plan to have a family. Maybe he was following the pattern. He saw other guys ahead of him, his officers and such following. Or maybe he just didn't think about it. But women have got to stop feeding into that delusion that is put upon us. It is fed to us through Disney movies and romance novels and rom-coms, but we have to stop feeding into this delusion that true love is going to fulfill our lives and our husband is going to be our best friend. Most men don't even like you. And it's not personal because they don't like themselves either. That's why they're always doing some escapist activity. You notice he never wanted to sit there and think, did he? No, he wants to escape. He wants to play games that were, created by other men. He wants to read books that were written by other men. He wants to go to sleep so he can escape from his own mentality. Men don't even like themselves. What makes you think they'd be a fit companion for you? What makes you think they'd be a great father to your child? Imagine someone who always wants to escape from his own life, who's walled himself off from his wife and his children. This person has a serious identity crisis. He is literally trying to maintain the exact life he had when he was single, with a wife and a family in the house. And so many men do this because they are cosplaying adulthood. They know the markers of manhood are attaining certain things. And he thinks of you the same way he thinks of a house. You know how a man has to have a house and a car and a job to be an adult? Well, he also has to have a wife and a kid. But it doesn't mean he likes any of those things. He just sees you as an object. And this is not specific to this creator. It does describe what she's going through. But This is what so many women are going through. And they keep wondering, well, how can I do things differently? What can I do to make him more engaged in the family? Maybe if we go to couples counseling. Maybe if I change up the way I do things. Maybe if we did more fun activities. Maybe. The problem is not you. The problem is that you're married to a man who never wanted this life. And he was dishonest about it because he probably doesn't know what he wants. He's out here just performing the masculinity other people had told him to perform. But this is why it is so dangerous to center men. Most men do not know who they are. Women, for all that men laugh and whatnot, we have our own sense of identity. And that's why women can hang out in groups or have sisters and still be completely different. Men tend to have a groupthink mindset. They follow the crowd, they don't want to stand out, and whatever the most popular or wealthy or handsome, successful man is doing is what he's going to do too. So they all walk around following these patterns that are making them utterly miserable because they never wanted any of it. But they're never going to admit it. They're never going to come to you and say, hey, I'm not really enjoying our life. I think I prefer X, Y, and Z. I'd like to move. I'd like to see you and the kids less. He's just going to make you suffer for it. Like I always say, men look to the women in their life for a sense of identity. So if he's unhappy, he's naturally going to blame you. Well, if I had married somebody different, if I had done this, if I had done that, if I had done the third. He's never going to admit he's just miserable because he doesn't like the life that he has, that he chose to have. Because I guarantee you, he's an old-fashioned guy, sounds like. He probably proposed, He's the one who advanced the relationship. These military guys will marry you in about 2 seconds flat. It's because the military wife is a designation, not a person. It's just a set of duties to be fulfilled. And frankly, wife comes under that same category. Like civilian wife is the same exact thing. A lot of men are just getting married for the access to the labor, and then they'll have children to trap you so you can't leave. Or at least it's a lot harder. But to him, you're auxiliary. You're an accessory. And he doesn't need to spend time with his car, does he? He uses the car when he wants, and when he doesn't want, he does something else. He doesn't have to take the car's feelings into consideration. He doesn't have to do things that are helpful to the car. He doesn't have to spend time reassuring the car. So he feels the same way about the other accessories in his life, even though those are human. The fairy tales do us a grave disservice. Stop looking to men as a whole for emotional connection. Because yes, are there exceptions? Of course. I tell you, I'll continue. I have an amazing father, but I know that to be the exception. Instead of waiting for connection that can't possibly come from men, why don't we take that same energy and time and pour it into building community with each other? And this creator seems to be on the right road. She's decentering men. And I urge all of you to do the same. Start today. That's it. Like and follow for more.
Love, always Sicilian Regina, like she's always like our opinion. I feel like myself and her, we can be friends in real life. Yeah, but yeah, let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts on what the conversation generally has been had and your own opinion. I'd love to know what you think about this down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. As always, here on this channel, we are allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts. Adding to what these beautiful women added, I know that I'm going to share my own take on this. And one thing I would say is that a lot of people still don't get it why there are a lot of women on this app trying to tell women, single women, younger girls to decenter men from their life. You see myself, you see Bob and Bougie, you see even Shawanda, Maria, David. You see us, we're married women, but we're telling women because if we can go back in time knowing what we know now, we would definitely make a different decision than the one we make. Do we want to pack our bags and leave our marriage? No, we're here, we're in it, and all that. And that's one thing I always tell people is easier to get into it than to get out of it. I don't know if I'm making sense. It's easier to get into marriage than to get out of it. When you're in, even if it's not all that, like, in terms of, like, I would say personally, in terms of society, I have a very good marriage. I have the best marriage ever. But one thing that has helped me as an individual and helped me like internal peace, and the way society has really programmed a lot of us, especially women, we seek the validation of people, and people have to tell us that it's good, it's happy, and all that. And not really searching inside it and ask ourselves, are you genuinely happy with what you're doing with your life? Are you honest with yourself to ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, am I happy? A lot of the time, people reflect their happiness based on what society, what people out there say and do or think about them. But someone like myself, and this is something I advocate here, I don't want that validation. The validation should come from inside me. I want to look myself in the mirror and look myself and say, you are genuinely happy from deep down. And one of the things that has helped me to do that is to decenter men, and including decentering my husband. I was that girl, like I've said this a couple of times before. I was that girl. I was all about my man. That was me. Some years ago, I said I've been with my husband for almost 21 years now. Married for almost 11, dated for 10 years. And I was that girl. There's this saying my in-laws call me. They call me Arokoyo. If you're Yoruba, you know what that is, okay? And Arokoyo is, I'm going to explain it. Arokoyo means a woman that is always hopping and following the D. You get it? And that was me because I always want to be in my husband's presence, anywhere he is. Like, my entire life was to serve him, make sure it's okay, make sure it's comfortable, make sure he doesn't get mad. How do I talk to him so that he doesn't get angry? How do I present this issue that bothers me to him so that he doesn't, like, just really all to cater for him. And I went on the journey of me trying to know myself and really healing myself, like, because I identified that I had some trauma that I need to deal with, and I started seeing a therapist, which actually helped me to unpack a lot of things, which led to me decentering men, including my husband. And I remember being my husband is almost like this woman's husband. Like I said, this the original creator, love her content. She's someone that I resonate so much with her content because she's married, but she's telling younger women not to do it and to probably do it in a different way than society has pictured women to do it. So in the process of me trying to decenter my husband works all day, like 7 days a week, and a lot of the time I was waiting up for him to do things. Let's travel together. Let's go here together. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. And that's because he was the center of my world at that time. And that affected a lot of things in me. And that's one thing a lot of women don't want to admit. When you center a man so much and you're so like, oh, my husband, my best friend, we need to do this together. We need to do this together. When these things or these thoughts, this ideology, this dululu, this illusion, this fantasy that has been fed to us through media, through books and all that, when it's not coming to reality, then you now start building some type of resentment towards them because, oh, you were hoping that, oh, you guys will go on that fantastic holiday and the man is like, you know what, I'm busy, I don't want to deal with that, da 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 da, or he keeps telling you, we'll go, like my husband will tell you, we'll go, and we're not doing it. And when I started the journey of decentering men and including my husband, I decided that, you know what, I can go on trips myself, I can do it. I went to my first solo trip myself. I went out on the girls trip with my friend Maria. Like, I started doing things for me, and that's because I decenter him. And for people that have children, me, I don't have children, we don't have kids together, so it's, for me, I feel like it's a lot easier. But when you don't have children, it's a different ball game because, like this woman said, she now is looking back like she could have done things differently, maybe form a community, build a community, make friends with other moms so that she can do things with her kids that she genuinely loved or wanted to do. But because she was holding on to her husband, because her husband was the center of her world, she could not give her kids what she wanted to because she was waiting for them to do it as a family in the Dululu way, in the fantasy way that society, media, everybody has fed us as women. See, let me tell you, women, let me tell you, ladies, let me tell you, single women. You see that idea when they say, oh, be in a relationship, da 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 da. You see that idea, the way it's being painted to us by media or even by other married people, because there are very few of us that are coming here and we're saying it and like, you know what, don't do it. If I have a better understanding or if I know what I know now, I won't have done it. There are very few women that are still going on with the facade of, oh, good, like, this is how marriage is, this is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No. The reality of the illusion that, or the fantasy that was sold to us versus the reality is a different ball game, guys. So if you want to go, listen to people that are telling their story. Listen to people that are telling their story. For either being single mothers, married women, and divorced women sharing their story. I'm not saying all men are bad. Like the last lady, Cecilia Regina, her parents are married, and her dad to her, like coming from her and sharing her parents' story, her dad is an exception to what's going out there. But always putting it out there, there are exceptional men out there, but you need to know your worth as a person. You need to know your value. You need to center yourself. And I believe, like, in this life where we're in, the way you carry yourself, the way you treat yourself, that is how whoever you want into your life, whoever you let into your life is going to treat you. And there's one thing I always say to family, friends, and even to you guys sometimes: how do you expect somebody to treat you better than you treat yourself? Have you given yourself that grace? Have you treated yourself? Have you taken yourself out? Have you loved yourself for you expecting another human being to come into your life and love you that way? No. And some people usually feel like when women like us come online and say, you know what, they center men and all that, it's us hating on men. We're not hating on men. We're saying that live your life with your purpose. Put yourself at the forefront. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Center yourself. And since I started the journey like 4 or 5 years ago, centering myself, I've said it a couple of times, the inner peace and happiness that I have inside, like genuine inner peace and happiness, is out of this world. Honestly happy. And I've never been as happy as I've been since the past 4 years. And that's because I started putting myself first. I started loving myself. I started taking care of I was doing that before, but you know when your whole life, you're the main character of your life and you're just like, it's a different feeling. It's a different attraction. It's a different aura. It's a different vibe that comes with it. And that is what I want every woman to build community. Hey, you don't understand how beautiful that is. It is one of the most beautiful things. Support system. Because naturally they told us that our husband, our spouse is going to be our support system. Really? Okay. Okay. My husband is my support system, like he support. But I also have my girls that are like my solid rock that I go to hands down. And a lot of women are in relationship marriages because they are scared of being alone. They don't want that stigma that comes from working, not being in a relationship. They are in a relationship because they have to, not because they want to. I am in a relationship because I want to. I'm in my marriage because I want to, not because I have to. I work, I make money, okay? I can be single if I want to, but I'm here because I want to. And that's what I want every woman to be in that place. Be in a relationship, be in a marriage because you want to, not because you have to. And like the other lady was talking about how, oh, the men work. When you marry a provider, there are certain things, he will be so tired, he wants his own mean time and all that. I get what she's saying, but when also a man chooses to have a family, he knows exactly what he's getting himself into. Is it the wife that don't want a me time? Being a full-time wife or a housewife is a full-time job. She wants a me time. She also wants to go out with the girls and have drink, but she cannot. That is the reality you find yourself when you choose to have a family, choose to have a wife, choose to have children. That's the reality. But a lot of the time, as much as we tell women to be very intentional about how they move and how they navigate life and who they choose to do life with, a lot of men also got into this loophole of being married, having children, without really being very intentional about it, because that's what society expects of them. Like I said, myself and my husband, amazing. We, both of us, it's just that he's not the type of person, he can make videos with me, but both of us have sat down. I've gotten this question a couple of times, people saying that, Destiny, how does your husband feel? You saying that you don't believe in marriage is a scam. My husband agrees with me 150%. He agrees with when the two of us look each other sometimes like, you know what, child guy, like this is a scam, Sha. We're here already, Sha. Let's make the best of it. And the two of us have we have our own identity in this marriage, and that has worked for us. So I'm going to stop here because I can go on for hours on this, but please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful as always. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl, yeah? With that all said, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video.